so as not to be late somewhere further along their path. So many people gathered around the building that they felt the atmosphere filled with bustle and liveliness, and they had to walk through the crowd to reach their goal. Elena asked the guy not to stand out among the crowd, warning that his enemies might start making fun of him because they were surrounded by rivals. When the main character learned that the results might be posted there, his determination did not allow him to stop, and he headed to the place, despite the girl's recommendation. He noticed that there were classes labeled A through E. The girl was sure that they were probably in Class A. As it turned out, they were indeed found in Class Z, but none of them had previously known about the existence of such a class, which added to the mystery and unpredictability of the situation. Yuri warmly greeted the couple, creating a friendly and welcoming atmosphere in this unexpected situation. Together with Yuri, there was a mysterious stranger wearing a helmet reminiscent of the helmets of knights, which gave this meeting a mysterious and fantastic touch. As it turned out, this mysterious stranger in a helmet was Yuri's escort, and his presence added even more mystery and interest to this meeting. Having completed the welcoming gesture, they exchanged brief introductions and discussed their expectations for their quest in this new and unknown class, beginning their adventure with eager excitement. The guy introduced himself as Jason and said that his main role was to protect Yuri, which gave them an understanding of the seriousness of this mission and the need for cooperation. Yuri began to reveal that he wears a helmet to hide his true identity, and he hoped that he and the main character could maintain a good relationship despite this hiding his face. Her mood did not improve, and she continued to remain in an angry mood caused by the previous incident with Michael. Yuri only wanted to see the girl. It was for this reason that he did not share information about the class with her, trying to maintain intrigue and make the meeting more mysterious. It turned out that this class is new for the school year. Previously, students were distributed according to their academic performance, but this year in Class Z, they decided to gather students with special abilities, which aroused additional interest and questions from Rui and Elena. We can say that this is a class where talented and unique individuals have gathered, creating an atmosphere of creativity and non-standard approaches to learning. If they had been graded, they would probably have been in Class A, but their performance was so outstanding that they were placed in Class Z, reserved for students with unique abilities. Based on the decision of the management, they were sent to Class Z, taking into account their abilities and potential. The girl could not understand whether Yuri was watching them because it all looked quite suspicious and mysterious, which caused her questions and misunderstandings. For the girl, it didn't matter much whether Yuri was watching them or not, because she felt confident and calm when she was next to the guy. Her running seemed too hot, and the guy politely asked her to slow down so they could move together and enjoy the moment. Jason remained confused as to the reasons why they needed to keep an eye on the pair, which made him curious and doubtful about the purpose of this mission. It turned out that this class was populated by absolute naughty people, and even Yuri found it difficult to keep them under control and keep an eye on them. Jason believed that Rui had the necessary skills and determination to meet this challenge and successfully resolve the situation in Class Z. If Yuri hopes so much for Rui, it means that he has invested a lot of hope and trust in the guy, and now Rui must live up to those expectations. His interest knew no bounds, and he couldn't wait to find out what Class Z class was, ultimately expecting to unravel the mystery of this mysterious place. The guy and girl quickly changed their clothes and decided to go explore the class to learn more about its students and the characteristics of this unusual group. From the very beginning, they did not notice anything that could seem strange or unusual in this class. Rui's goal was to find true friends among the students in this class and build warm relationships, and he hoped that this would be possible despite their uniqueness and quirks. After recognizing the hero, they began to wonder if he was the one who won the duel during the exam, causing Rui to be slightly surprised and happy that his achievements were known. After a positive answer, their reaction seemed strange, as if they were ready to find out more details from the main character and were interested in his story in their own way. Elena showed a willingness to draw her sword and engage in battle if the situation took a more aggressive turn, expressing her readiness to defend herself and the main character. However, to everyone's surprise, the guy simply shook Roy's hand and expressed recognition, saying that the duel was very impressive and deserved praise. The guy began to express admiration and praise towards Rui, as if worshipping him and saying what a magnificent and skillful duelist he was. Jack spoke of his skills in explosive magic, causing amazement and interest among those present, and his talents made him quite a popular figure in Class Z. Behind Jack was a tall guy named Michael, and next to him was Alex. The introduction of everyone in the class became more informative and welcoming. Jack hoped that Rui would be able to make friends with them and find common ground, which was an important aspect for him and for the entire Z class. Having received such a warm greeting from the students of the class, Rui felt that his fears and worries were in vain, and he was ready for new acquaintances and adventures in this unusual class. The girls also showed support and greeted the boys with a smile, starting to get to know them and talking to them, which created a friendly atmosphere in the class. Rui was attracted to one of the students and began a conversation with interest to learn more about him and get to know him better, feeling that this class could bring him many interesting contacts and experiences. It turned out that this student was not in a friendly mood, but instead exhibited aggressive behavior and anger, which left Rui a little dumbfounded and unsure of his actions. The main characters felt bewildered, not understanding what could have gone wrong, and wondering if they might have made some mistake or bad experience that caused this student's aggression. Since Rui was from a village, he might not be aware of some of the city's customs or practices, which could explain his negative attitude and dissatisfaction. This was because it was forbidden to have slave beastmen in the capital, but in other major cities this practice continued, which caused discontent on the part of many beastmen and created a conflict between them and ordinary people. The main character wondered if he would ever be able to become friends with this student, despite the initial tension and conflict, and he hoped that the relationship would improve. When the girl tried to tell the guy something, his attention was focused on one of the girls in the class, which caused some misunderstanding and irritation in the girl. He couldn't help but notice that she was amazingly beautiful, as if she had come straight out of a painting, and this caught his attention and piqued his interest. Slightly stuttering, Rui greeted the girl, trying to compose himself and be polite in front of her. However, he only received a cold disregard from the girl, which left his feelings a little hurt and disappointed. Elena could not stand this behavior and was amazed at how the girl dared to ignore the guy, and this caused her indignation and bewilderment. She exhibited pretentious behavior and stated that there was simply nothing to talk about with him, which caused additional irritation and bewilderment on the part of Elena and Rui. Elena was perplexed and disappointed by such an unpleasant answer, which completely contradicted their hopes for friendly communication with the students of the class. Her nerves were already gone, and she felt very irritated, ready to explode and tear the girl to pieces on the spot because of her rude and unpleasant behavior. Yuri noticed that the guy had apparently already established relationships with everyone, and also added that the teacher was already heading towards them, and they needed to quickly take their places. Yuri defiantly introduced himself again and greeted the guy, showing his friendliness and willingness to communicate, despite previous troubles. It was clear from the look of the main character that he felt satisfaction from the new class, since from that moment his life at the academy begins, and he is ready for new challenges and adventures. One day, a teacher was explaining something to the children with great diligence, trying to convey important information and knowledge to them. The teacher explained that in this way, water magic uses moisture from the atmosphere to achieve its goals, sharing knowledge about magical processes with students. Rui disagreed with the teacher and said that water magic was probably also capable of controlling underground waters and water sources, expressing his own vision and understanding of magical processes. 2 weeks have already passed since they entered the academy, and the main characters have been actively studying magic and adapting to the new learning environment. Everyone present was amazed at how clearly the guy explained the material, and his ability to convey knowledge aroused admiration among students and teachers. When they returned from practice, they noticed that all the chairs were scattered around the classroom, which caused surprise and bewilderment among those present. It was very cruel, and the children could not understand who had made such a mess and scattered chairs around the classroom, causing indignation and irritation. One of the guys wanted to ask some questions and find out what happened to understand the situation better. He decided to find the one who created this mess. He is sure that he left traces or evidence that will help solve this mystery. Oscar began using magical analysis to uncover magical clues or information that could lead him to discover the villain who was causing chaos in the classroom. This is exactly what Rui expected from Oscar, relying on his magical skills to solve the mystery and find the culprit. Oscar announced that he had these magical skills thanks to the help of the guy, which caused interest and surprise among the others. Thus, he was able to develop his analysis skills and ability to analyze more than just one table, thanks to the training and lessons that the guy gave after school. Oscar noticed a classmate's hair and shoe prints, which could be a clue to who caused the mess in the classroom. Oscar was truly impossible to fool, and his unique skills in magical analysis allowed him to reveal details that went unnoticed by others. As it turned out, the guy was expelled from the village for abusing magic, which explained his strange and hostile behavior. He rejoiced at the opportunity to use magic and realized that he could now be useful and contribute to solving the mystery of the disorder in the classroom. The guy provided information about who broke into the classroom and caused the chaos, sharing his knowledge and observations to help solve the incident. Oscar, not wanting to get involved in conflicts and fights, decided to stay away and not join the class that was probably going to look into the situation. Oscar could rely on his friend and assured him that he could cope without his help, expressing his trust and confidence in his abilities. At this time, Jack, Alex, and Michael were nearby, ready to support their friends and help if necessary. They all had one common goal: to catch the one who broke the rules and created chaos in the classroom in order to restore order and restore calm in the academy. Jack asked the main character if he could start already, expressing his readiness to intervene and help investigate the incident. Kicking down the door, the boys burst into the classroom, ready to begin an investigation and find the rule breaker. The boys were confident that they could win this battle and solve the mystery of the classroom incident, trusting in their skills and their own dedication. It appears that all the suspects are planning to feign innocence and hide their involvement in the incident. A stranger approached the guys, and the main character immediately felt that he had seen him somewhere before. It seemed that he was from the aristocracy or other upper class. The main character apologized for the fact that they suddenly burst into the classroom and explained that one of the hooligans in their class disrupted the lesson, and now they are trying to find the culprit and restore order. The stranger asked if it was too early to suspect them of this, expressing doubt about their assumptions about who might have disrupted the lesson. The stranger also added that in their class there are many students from disadvantaged families, and this can make it difficult to find the culprit and understand the situation. After these words, Jack became enraged and was ready to tear the stranger to pieces, feeling anger and defending the honor of his class and friends. Understandably, Rui realized that the stranger just wanted to anger them, and he began to think of a strategy on how to remain calm and investigate the incident intelligently and effectively. He asked Jack to trust him and rely on his decisions so that the investigation would go more smoothly and efficiently. The guy began to take something unknown out of his pocket, causing interest and anticipation among everyone present. The main characters carefully examined the hair that Oscar found for them in the classroom and began to analyze it, hoping to find any clues or traces of the culprit from it. The stranger inquired how Oscar was able to find out who the hair belonged to, expressing curiosity about the methods by which Oscar used his magical powers to determine the owner of the hair. The guy started talking about how they did a genetic analysis and compared the data with known samples to determine the owner of the hair. Then he decided to explain it briefly so that others would understand the analysis process. He announced that he used his ability, called Time Rewind, to analyze the genetic information and identify the owner of the hair. The stranger was clearly surprised and did not expect such an unusual outcome of events, because the return time ability was extremely rare and powerful. As it turned out, the main characters used magic that could return time, and the hair returned to its owner's head, which surprised everyone present with its unusual magical power. In other words, it turned out that the hair belonged to a stranger, and he was involved in the incident with the thrown chairs in the classroom. The stranger could not understand how this was possible. because not even all high-class magicians could use the magic of time, and this caused him surprise and bewilderment. The stranger pointed his wand at the boy, preparing to possibly use his magical powers in response to their discovery of his crime. The stranger admitted that he was going to purge and remove the main character from the class, implying perhaps some measures to expel or punish him. He warned everyone present that they should also prepare for the punishment or consequences of carrying out a purge that would cover the entire atmosphere of the class. The main character noticed that pointing magic wands without sufficient reason is contrary not only to the rules of the school, but also to the law of magic in general. The main character realized that in this situation it was more of a self-defense, and now he had no need to hold back. The time has come for retribution and protection of their interests. After this, classmates began to jointly develop a strategy to prevent possible negative consequences and protect themselves and their class. The man ordered everyone to shoot, calling on them to take active action in this situation. The main character noticed that people were gathering near the class, and he decided that they needed to avoid direct blows and being hit by them. Michael made the decision to take responsibility and act independently in this situation. Michael decided to use a technique known as the wall to protect himself and his comrades from attacks. Jack confessed to Michael and said that he would take further action in preparation for dealing with the situation. Jack decided to use his powerful technique, called the bomb, in order to cope with the stranger and his threats. All the wands instantly exploded in the hands of their owners, causing chaos and panic in the class. This unexpected explosion, of course, was not part of their plan, and they expected an easier victory. Now the students were absolutely sure that victory was not part of their plans. The students began discussing precautions and rules for using magic to avoid such situations. Among those present was a man who was ready to deal the strongest blow to Alex. His determination and aggression could be seen in his eyes. He was not going to allow such an easy victory for his opponent, and instead of allowing the blow, he decisively activated the power-up in his legs. Because of this unexpected reaction, the guy was unable to hit him at all. His blow was completely useless. All subsequent attempts to harm this guy also ended in failure. His incredible agility and reaction made him untouchable for his opponents. He mocked them and noticed that they were too slow, and with such ease that one could even yawn without fear of anything. They were still unable to unravel his whereabouts, and he remained an inaccessible mystery to them. It was at this time that Alex suddenly appeared and delivered his decisive blow, which proved irresistible. And, in addition, apparently, he also overdid it and completely knocked out his opponents. And apparently, he not only struck but also overestimated his strength, so that the opponents were completely knocked out of action. Alex grabbed him by the throat and asked who can now be considered bad in this situation. Under Alex's influence, he began to beg for mercy and guaranteed his readiness to fulfill any request. However, the condition was that he would have to obey not only the guy, but also everyone else, following their orders. The main character is ready to strike the decisive blow in this epic battle. The blow was so devastating that the man turned and fell to the ground, groaning in pain while his opponents were left amazed by the hero's might. The blow was so powerful that he simply pierced the wall with his body, leaving a huge hole in it and causing shock among all witnesses. Such a spectacle looked incredibly impressive and epic, forcing everyone around to applaud the hero. The hero's friends were proud to have been part of this incredible victory and to have witnessed his valor. They then raised their hands to each other to symbolize and strengthen their friendship and unity. However, when Yuri learned about the boys' feat, he was overcome with rage, and he clearly did not approve of their action, not being proud of them. Jack was busy cleaning, and this was not his first endeavor in this matter. Inside himself, he admitted that it was his own fault that things had reached this extent. Yuri tormented himself with self-recrimination for simply not being able to follow them. Their promise to not allow such situations to happen again calmed them down, and they felt the obsession release from their souls. Then the main character approached Yuri and sincerely apologized, realizing that he probably suffered because of their actions. He honestly admitted that from the very beginning, when he decided to take this step, he expected that such situations would happen quite often. Yuri's voice was very tired, as if the echo of a long and restless day. Since he was still dealing with their actions, he was unable to get a good night's sleep. Rui felt incredibly uneasy and uncomfortable as he realized that his actions had led to this situation, and now